Hello everyone, Commish K7 here with your weekly SRG Fantasy Football League recap. This week we have finally finished up week 9, and there were a couple blowouts, one or two very disappointing elements to it, as well as two extremely close games. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. So let's pop up this, boop, and move me down to the corner. There we go. And take a sip of my blackberry bourbon. Like a forest fire. All right, and let's get right to it. Our first matchup is a bit disappointing. Not really disappointing for me, but disappointing as to why it happened. Our first matchup was the Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers versus the Columbus Rebels, with the Rebels hopefully mounting a bit of a end of season I wouldn't even say end of season, mid-season attempt at a comeback to make a final push for a playoff spot. But unfortunately, the team that's currently residing in last place kind of show why they're still there, as the Darkstalkers took this one 106.2 to 48.9. Can you even say front runner for the lowest weekly score of the season. There is a reason for that though, and let's get right into it. We'll go right into it. The Columbus Rebels. They had one extremely good performance by DK Metcalf. Unfortunately, the rest of it wasn't that good, because they got a goose egg from Trey Burton, who has been making a habit of underperforming as a tight end. Phillip Rivers didn't have a really good game. And Stefan Diggs, after going ballistic the past couple weeks, did not pull through this week. But the main issue that I'm concerned with is the two running backs. If you notice, both of them were on a bye. So thus resulting in an automatic 0 for each of them. That, if I win, I prefer to win when people put out their best lineups. I don't like it when it's like, I can understand if things are forgotten, but he had two running backs that were on his bench that performed really well. There was no excuse to not put them in for the week. And that cost him 38.3 points. Not enough to really come close to my score, but it would have made it a much closer matchup. And it wouldn't have burdened him with the lowest score of the season. So, unfortunately, it is what it is, but I am going to be making a note of this in case it happens in the future. Now let's see what went right for the Darkstalkers. Christian McCaffrey went right as per usual, posting almost 40 points for the week. DJ Moore had a good week with 18.1, and Leonard Fournette, the number 3 for the week, didn't meet expectations, but still posted 12 points, which pretty much was even with Aaron Rodgers after two or three extremely fantastic weeks in a row. Aaron Rodgers put up a bit of a stinker against the LA Chargers, and with his team losing 11-26, he only put up 11.9 points. Everyone else, adequate. Anyone on the bench could have done better? Well, let's see. Devontae Parker would have been a better choice than Keenan Allen. Ronald Jones would have been a better choice than Leonard Fournette. Ronald Jones, a surprising pickup, surprising pickup considering he was available in the type of league that it is. But at the same time, now I don't need to trade for a running back for when Fournette or McCaffrey take a bye week. But then again, McCaffrey already did his bye week, so it's whenever Fournette is on a bye, which conveniently enough is next week. So Jason Witten, another good pickup, posted 13.8 points, though it was on the bench. Though now I seem to have an issue where the team had no real tight end aside from Vance McDonald. Now has the number 2 tight end for Philly in a 2 tight end offense, and Jason Witten, who is the main tight end in Dallas. So we'll see how that goes. Either way, and yeah, Rebels had a whole pile of people on his bench that he could have put in, but didn't. So either way, Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers take this one, 106.2 to 48.9 in a rather depressing matchup. Up next, we have Team Brooks versus Metropolis Kryptonite, where the Kryptonite trying to push themselves into the playoff picture by taking this one 100.4 to 86. Let's see what happened. For Team Brooks, we had a good performance by Kyler Murray, posting 24 points. Amari Cooper dropping 19, and Carlos Hyde putting up 15. Unfortunately, the rest of the team, while decent, like Chris Godwin put up 13.9 points against a projected 18.6. But yeah, had a goose egg from Chase Edmonds, who is out with injury, I believe. Broncos defense, a midweek pickup, only was able to put up 1 point against the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, kicker did Matt Prater, former Darkstalker and perennial free agent, is put up 6 points. And yeah, that's about of note. And Metropolis Kryptonite, let's see what went right for them. Well, Zach Ertz with 26.3 in a phenomenal game. Deshaun Watson doing Deshaun Watson things, putting up 22.7. And James White rounding out the top three of the team with 16.4. Everyone else on the team, decent performance. Like Jets defense actually did decent against Miami, but everyone does decent against Miami, even if they are Miami's first win of the season. And Chark, not a good week. And Juju Smith-Schuster not having a good season. But then again, he lost his quarterback, and he's doing what he can. So let's take a look at the bench, see if anything could have helped on either side. Well then, Team Brooks probably could have won this one had he put in different players. Damian Williams and David Montgomery both dropping 26 or 22 points each. Lamar Jackson dropping 29. I'm surprised he didn't put in Jackson, but then again, actually, yeah, I'm surprised he put in Kyler Murray against a strong San Francisco defense. Then again, New England has a strong defense too, but it is what it is. And yeah, so yeah, if he put in his running backs and Lamar Jackson, he would have taken it this week, because the only high scoring player on the Kryptonite bench is Derek Carr. And even then, he didn't beat Deshaun Watson's score. So that 100.4 is pretty much the top score for Kryptonite this week, while Brooks left at least 30 points on the bench. But is what it is. Kryptonite takes this one, 100.4 to 86. Up next, we have Parts Unknown the Secchi versus Greensburg Honor, where Greensburg coming to the second half strong. Taking this one 101.3 to 94.2 in a very solid effort by the Secchi. But it seems that he's been getting bit by some bad luck, just facing teams that just barely eke out wins against him. So let's see what happened. Well, top scorer on the Secchi was Jamal Williams, posting up another decent week as the number 2 running back in Green Bay, behind Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, and Jones. So yeah, Williams put up a decent score with 16.9. Mark Ingram put up 15.4, and Tom Brady, while he did not meet his expectations, still put up 13.4. Everyone else was pretty much expectations. Oh, never mind. Harrison Butker, the highest scoring player on his team, was the kicker with 18 points. He was kicking up that's actually, I think, the highest score for a kicker in the season. And but was just not missed it by 7 points. So let's see what happened what good happened with Greensburg Honor. Well, Derrick Henry put up a fantastic show. Steelers defense put up a great show against Indianapolis. And while that 18 was phenomenal, the Greensburg kicker did really well too, posting 16, which I think is the second highest kicking total for the season. So of all the weeks for him to go nuts, this was the week. And yeah, those three led the way and made up for some underperforming performances by everyone else. In Gardner Minshew's probably final start of the season, only was able to put up 5.8. So yeah, he was riding the Minshew train for the weeks that he had him. Sonny Michael not so good, but yeah, overall though, put up enough to win. Anyone on the bench could have helped? Well, yeah, Kyle Allen would have been a better choice. Michael Gallup would have been better than Larry Fitz. Odell Beckham Jr. would have been a better choice than Larry Fitz. But I can understand why benching him, because the Denver defense has been pretty good. So while not surprising that he benched him, ended up being the wrong choice. Because putting in his bench players might have been enough. However, Greensburg Honor didn't put in one of their best players as well. Another player that they got from a trade, Emmanuel Sanders, who has been going against my prediction, has been doing phenomenally well. I guess being on a better offensive team is paying dividends for him. So he might want to start throwing him into the lineup instead of Tyrell Williams or Devontae Adams, even though Adams is finally back. But whatever. Either way, Greensburg Honor takes this one 101.3 to 94.2. And up next, we have the Big Guys Gunners versus Thielen Chubby, where the Gunners coming out firing, posting 132 to 68.4. This was a bit of a lopsided victory, which is surprising considering this was one of my matches of the week. So, but let's see what happened. Well, for the Gunners, everything went right, with Tyler Lockett dropping 41 points against the Swiss cheese defense of Tampa Bay. Ryan Tannehill doing some magic in Tennessee, even though Tennessee lost, is still putting up good quarterback numbers. Definitely better than Mariota. And Le'Veon Bell doing Le'Veon Bell things against Miami, even in a losing effort. Let's see anyone. Cowboys defense also dropped 20, and Adrian Peterson on a bit of a resurgence for the past couple weeks, even though his team got slaughtered by Buffalo. But yeah, and that was enough to basically run on all cylinders. And even then, he could have had more points. He could have had more than 30. He could have had more than 30 more points had he put in Mike Evans instead of Allen Robinson II, where Mike Evans on the bench posted a 37. Wow. And I think that's the second time he's left. That's another time where Mike Evans has been left on the bench when posting fantastic numbers. And let's see what happened. Let's see what went wrong for Thielen Chubby. Well, we had matching scores by Carson Wentz and Nick Chubb with 13.1. Michael Bagley? I don't know. Can't pronounce it. Bagley posted 15 for the highest on the team. And Evan Engram posting 11, though not meeting expectations. However, with a 0 from Adam Thielen and 1.6 from Darius Slayton and a 5.6 by Tevin Coleman was enough to really hold this team back, limiting them to only 68.4. And looking at the bench, well, while he could have put in Kirk Cousins and gotten a better score, and Philip Lindsay posting a better score, even his best lineup wouldn't have been enough to surpass Big Guy Gunner this week. So, Gunners take this one 132 to 68.4. And up next, our next matchup, we have Erie Cucaracha Roach versus the Moneymaker Dollar Boys, where Dollar Boys take. This is actually correction. This is another game. This is another matchup that really disappointed me, and you'll see in a moment. But Moneymaker Dollar Boys take this one with a solid 135.8 to 83.5 victory. Now let's see why I'm rather annoyed. While Columbus Rebels failed to put in 2 players, Roach failed to put in 4. That really... It's one thing to put in a player that gets 0 or negative points. That's bad luck. But not putting in players at all really ticks me off. Especially in this league, where I'm trying to keep it where I want it to be as competitive as possible. So failing to put in bench players on a week that you have a ton of buys, that's not good. So yeah, Giovanni Bernard on bye, Tyler Eifert on bye, Falcons defense on bye, Greg Zuerlin on bye. Like, I can understand you might not want to drop players. That's fine. But when you have players on the bench that could have filled the positions, that's laziness. And like I said with Rebels, I've made a mark. I marked this in my notes. If this happens again, there will be repercussions, and I don't want to have to do that. But yeah, he could have been in Peyton Barber. 1.5 is better than 0. He could have put in the 49ers defense. 2 points are better than 0. Wide receivers did a good job. And so he did not have a backup tight end, which fine, I can forgive that. But the other positions are laziness. He didn't have an extra tight end. He didn't have an extra kicker. If you didn't want to drop those to fill spots, fine. I understand that. I look at the teams. I look at how they're built. I can understand when a team is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you'd rather not drop anyone. I understand that. This has no excuse. So I don't like being angry and negative about it, but when this happens, especially when your quarterback puts up almost 50 points, and DeAndre Hopkins puts up almost 20, Julian Edelman 16.9. I can understand Wayne Gallman putting up a 0 because Barkley's back. But the fact is, you got 83.5 points by 3 players. Even putting in half an effort might have given you enough to, I don't know, make it a close game. But I don't know. I'm rather annoyed about this. So let's look at what went right for the Dollar Boys. Matthew Stafford did great with 30.8. Noah Fant basically throwing himself into the TE1 picture, putting up 22.5. Jamison Crowder putting up 22.3. And while the other players didn't really meet expectations aside from the Eagles defense with a 9, they still put up decent scores. 15.6 for Delvin Cook, 14.3 by Carson. Great job. And in the end, it resulted in a 135.8 score for the Dollar Boys, which is actually, once again, Dollar Boys get the highest point total of the week. And anyone on the bench could have helped? Well, Kenyon Drake would have been a better choice than either Cook or Carson, with posting almost 30 points on the bench. Curtis Samuel, great performance on the bench, but wouldn't have cracked his top group. Kaimi Fairbairn would have been a better choice than Robbie Gould. He's running with 2 kickers right now, which cool, good, cool. Whatever strategy you want. And he started the Eagles defense over the Lions defense. Lions dropping -5, so he might have positions that he could drop for a free agent. His team is set up really, really well to make a strong push to the playoffs. And right now, he is currently in first place overall. Yeah, it's like, actually no, he's in a tie for first place, though he owns the tiebreaker in points for. So good for him taking this one. Good for the Dollar Boys taking this one 135.8 to 83.5. Now let's get to a little less lopsided matchups with the Grumpy Groupies versus the Shaggy Sharks, with the Grumpy Groupies taking this one in a nail-biter, 97.7 to 95.7. Pardon me. So this actually is one of our closest matches of the season, with a 2-point margin of victory. And funny I should say that, it's actually not the closest match that we have this season, and I will get to that in a moment. So let's see what went right for the Groupies. For the Groupies, we had 19.9 by George Kittle. Great trade for him. 19.3 by Jalen Samuels. 17.6 by Josh Allen. Not meeting expectations, but coming very close. Anyone else? Yeah, everyone else did rather decently, though not really meeting expectations. Overall, they did all right, and it was enough to get them the win. So let's see what happened with the Sharks. The Shaggy Sharks, we had 2 great performances by Marvin Jones Jr. and Dak Prescott, followed by a 13-point performance by Travis Kelce. Both tight ends did pretty well this week. Unfortunately, the rest of the team not so much, with only 5.9 by Danny Amendola and a 3.9 by Aaron Jones, who, like Aaron Rodgers, finally cooled off for a week after a string of fantastic performances. So, can't blame him too much for that one. Now let's see on the bench if anything could have helped it. Well, Melvin Gordon would have been a better choice than either Samuels or Elliott, though he probably wouldn't have started Gordon over either of them. And anyone else? Not really. On the Sharks side, we had great performance by Preston Williams, 24.2, where the Fitz Magic is actually doing pretty well. And Jimmy Garoppolo posting 36.9. Jimmy G actually better than Dak Prescott this week. So, yeah, Sharks could have won had he put in the other two players. But unfortunately, Grumpy Groupies. Well, unfortunately for the Sharks, fortunately for Groupies, Groupies take this one 97.7 to 95.7. And our final matchup of the week, Pretty Boy Snow versus Planet Hulk World Breakers, where Snow trying to keep that luck train going against a rebuilding and resurging Planet Hulk team after a streak of, I believe, 4 losses in a row. Finally got himself back another win last week and takes a second one this week with a score of 113 to 111.5. For our closest, not only our closest matchup of the week, this is the closest margin of victory for the entire season. And even then, it could have been closer had Daniel Jones not fumbled in the final push of the game. So this one was literally down to the final play on Monday night. So let's see what happened. On Pretty Boy Snow, great performance by Kenny Galladay. Hunter Henry with a good score. Austin Eckler, not meeting expectations, but putting up a good score. Colts defense with a 10. Brett Maher with a 14. Yeah, he had 3 players going Monday night, and they almost pulled it off. Kind of like my matchup against Moneymaker, where I ended up losing by like 2.5 points. Because Monday night was a great final push, but just not enough. So yeah, Daniel Jones with an 8.8. The final fumble doing him in. Saquon Barkley not meeting expectations, but still putting up a respectable 15.5, and the aforementioned 14 from Brett Maher. And so let's see what went right for the World Breakers. World Breakers, Tyreek Hill back on the scene, dropping 28.5. And he's getting Patrick Mahomes back soon, so he's in a good spot to make a push. Let's see, Josh Jacobs with a 25. He's been flying under the radar as one of the best running backs in the league this season. And a 17.1 by Baker Mayfield, finally putting up a great score. And he was actually a late pickup that week, I think. Where someone dropped Mayfield after getting frustrated with them and probably needing another position. Ended up not being enough for him, and now Mayfield seems to be proving some dividends for the World Breakers, especially until Patrick Mahomes comes back. So they got who they needed to patch that hole in the meantime, and came up with a really close win. Anyone could have done better. Well, had he put in the Texas defense instead of the Colts, that could have been a better choice. Anyway, A.J. Brown would have been a better choice than Beasley. Matt Gay wouldn't have actually done anything, but everyone else, not so much. Anyone else on the World Breakers? Nope. No, World Breakers put up their best scores. And Snow, his luck running out this week, where he didn't put in, had he put in a different player or two, he would have won. But is what it is, and we have our closest matchup of the season, with the World Breakers taking this one 113 to 111.5 FM. So that's it for the reviews. That's it for the matches this week. So let's take a look at the current standings. All right, for the current standings, we still have a very, very tight race going on the Rowdy Rowdies, with the Moneymaker Dollar Boys and Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers, both with a 7-2 record. But with the Dollar Boys pulling out the points, pulling out the lead with the points 4, followed by Feeling Chubby after a rough week. Shaggy Sharks, unlucky break. Planet Hulk World Breakers pushing himself back up into a 3-way tie, and Greensburg Honor after starting the season with a rough 0-3 or 0-4 start, I forget, has come back with a vengeance and is now part of a 3-way tie. And only being 2 games behind. So just shows you put in the work, you might be able, you could pull yourself out of any hole. And with Metropolis Kryptonite being only one game behind that. So yeah, with a tie for the first place spot and no other team farther than 3 games behind, these playoff spots are still anyone's game. So let's take a look at the Rude Brood now. Pretty Boy Snow still sitting relatively comfortably, though that loss and the groupies win makes it a close race for the automatic playoff spot. And then we have a 3-way tie next with the Big Guys Gunners, Team Brooks, and Erie Cucaracha Roach, followed by a 2-7 record with Parts Unknown the Secchi and Columbus Rebels. There are still a good number of weeks left in the season. It is still anyone's game, especially considering the division leader is only 6-3. So, and by the way, the winner of each division gets not only an automatic playoff spot, but gets the bye in the playoffs. So every team needs to be pushing themselves to try to win the division, with the remaining 4 playoff spots being determined by record. So generally you will need a positive record. So the teams that are like 4-5 or 3-6 or 2-7, they do have some work to do, and they need to go on a major winning streak basically seeing the end of the season out on a win. But it is still any team's game. No team's eliminated yet, and we are in week 10, or we're going into week 10, and I believe there are 13 weeks in the season off the top of my head. So we still have three maybe 4 weeks left to get yourself into a playoff position. No team has secured a playoff spot yet, though I think if either the Moneymakers or the Darkstalkers win next week, that will all but guarantee them a playoff spot. While Rebels still needs to do some work. The Secchi and the Rebels need to do some work, but getting themselves to say 5-7 could put them in a good spot. So, but there are teams that still need some work to do, and it is very, very close. But no team's been eliminated, and every team has a chance to make it. Trick is, they need to get those 5 wins. If either the Secchi or the Rebels lose next week, I believe that will officially eliminate them from the playoffs. While Roach, Brooks, and Gunners, they will need to lose 2 games to be officially eliminated. So right now, the magic number to be considered for a playoff spot is 5 wins. So let's take a look at the current points for. Well, Moneymaker Dollar Boys have the highest point total of the season so far, which really helps them when it comes to tiebreakers, especially in this division. Followed by Shaggy Sharks, followed by Sniper's Edge. Points against. Most points against, we have Pretty Boy Snow. Fewest points against is Pretty Boy Snow. And because of the depressing performance by the Rebels last week, Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers is the number 2 lowest score. Is the number 2 lowest in terms of points against. With Metropolis Kryptonite still having the highest points against, followed by Grumpy Groupies. And points for who has the lowest point total for them? Well, that would be the Columbus Rebels and Parts Unknown the Secchi. It's unfortunate. Any current streaks going on? Well, Moneymaker Dollar Boys still have a 6-game winning streak going now, followed by Darkstalkers and Greensburg. Yep, so both those teams have 3-game win streaks going. Grumpy Groupie still number 1 in terms of moves, followed by Sniper's Edge, followed by Big Guys Gunners. So there's some numbers for you. And we have our projected playoff bracket with Moneymaker Dollar Boys taking the number 1 spot. Pretty Boy Snow still holding on to that 2nd spot. Number 3 is Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers. Number 4, Thiel and Chubby. Number 5, Shaggy Sharks. And number 6, Planet Hulk World Breakers. There is something that I want to point out. Currently every wild card spot is being held by someone from the Roddy Rowdies division. If that keeps holding, and Pretty Boy Snow loses the division lead spot to, say, Grumpy Groupies, that might knock him out of the playoffs. well, no, it wouldn't knock him out of the playoffs yet. It would actually knock out Planet Hulk, because he would be currently the lowest seed, and his 6-3 is good enough to at least get him an at-large spot, even if he doesn't have the lead on the division. But point of the matter is, fight for that division lead. Fight for that division lead, and at the very least, get yourself a positive win record as best you can. Because you want to keep your destiny in your own hands. So, yeah, there we have that. Let's take a look at the matchups for next week. Up next, we have Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers versus Parts Unknown the Seki. Will the Darkstalkers be able to continue their winning ways, or will Parts Unknown finally be able to pull out a win across that finish line? Because he's had a lot of bad luck in terms of matchups, where the team that he faces just barely ekes out a win over him. So will he be able to push through this time against the Darkstalkers? We shall see. We also have Greensburg Honor versus Team Brooks. Greensburg on a nice win streak. Team Brooks got tagged by a tough loss this week, but it's another story. Can he pull himself up and fight for that playoff spot? Thielen Chubby versus Columbus Rebels. This may get both teams coming off losses, where Thielen Chubby with a rather underperforming loss last week, looking to make amends. Looking to make amends and get some revenge. And Columbus Rebels, hopefully he will fix his team this week, because he needs to. Up next, we have a big matchup with the Moneymaker Dollar Boys versus the Big Guys Gunners, with the Gunners fighting to stay alive in the playoff hunt, with the Moneymakers still holding a strong, I can't say holding a strong lead, because he is tied for first place, though he does have the most points for the season so far. So I'm looking forward to this one, especially considering it's looking to be a 122-101. So after they fix up the bye weeks, after they fix up any bye weeks, make some pickups, we shall see what happens. But this one is currently my nomination for the match of the week. We also have Shaggy Sharks versus Erie Cucaracha Roach, with the Sharks taking a tough one, and Roach, hopefully he will edit his team and fix it this week, because he needs to. So right now Sharks looking to take the win, but Roach needs to fix his team ASAP. We also have Grumpy Groupies versus Planet Hulk World Breakers. Both teams coming off good wins, good, extremely close wins. So we shall see if that holds true for this week. And judging by the projected totals, we're looking at another close one. So we shall see what happens. And finally, we have Metropolis Kryptonite fighting to push himself up in the standings versus Pretty Boy Snow, who had an unlucky loss last week. So we will see if Snow is able to recover from that, and we will see if the Kryptonite can keep the good times rolling. So projected highest point total for the week looks to be individually. Remember how I said that Pat? Oh, nope, it's actually not him. It is Christian McCaffrey with a 25, projected to get 25.8, while Patrick Mahomes projected to not only return this week, but also put up 25.7. But we shall see what happens in the injury reports as we're going on. So followed by Alvin Kamara. Actually, no, followed by LaShawn Jackson, supposed to be putting up 24.9. So we shall see how it goes from there. Our quick little look at the game lines before anyone edits their team and fixes it. Right now, Sniper's Edge Darkstalkers projected at a minus 43.7 over the Seki. We have Greensburg Honor minus 42.6 over Brooks. We have Thielen Chubby minus 23.6 over Columbus Rebels. We have the Big Guys Gunners with a minus 20.9 over the Moneymakers. We shall see how that one. We'll see if that one stays true. Minus 51 for the Shaggy Sharks over Erie Cucaracha Roach. Minus 2.1 for Planet Hulk World Breakers over the Grumpy Groupies. And minus 49.3 for Snow over Metropolis Kryptonite. And there you have it. That is the current Week 9 recap and the week 10 projections for those teams I mentioned that need to fix their lineups, please do so. Otherwise, like I mentioned before, there will be unfortunate repercussions. As in, if that happens again and there is no excuse behind it, I will lock the teams, and both me and Tim, then both me and the co-commish Tim will be fixing their teams to have their most competitive lineup possible using their existing players. I do not want to have to resort to that. And I hate having to put my foot down. But you know what? This league needs to stay competitive, and I want to keep it that way. So, yeah. Fix your teams, edit them, get them in order. Make your pick, make some pickups, fix your lineups, start bench players, even if it's a projected 0. Get someone in there. Just so that you're not giving away victories. But that being said, hope everyone has a good week next week. Good luck to everyone. Hopefully we'll see some good fights for playoff spots. For those who tuned in, thank you very much for watching again. Hope to see you again next time, and may the rolls ever be in your favor. Peace.